To solve systems of equations, we need to be able to eliminate one variable either by substitution or addition subtraction. So in this first example, we have our two variables x and y, and we have two relationships that we can work with. I'm going to use equation 2, which I'm going to highlight in green, and I'm just going to use replacement or substitution here by solving first for x. So I'm going to subtract 5y from both sides. And then I'm going to use the x in equation 1 to replace the x in equation 2 to replace the x in equation 1. So my equation 1 is now going to look like this. Two times x. Well, x I'm going to replace with 5y plus 30. They are the same thing. They're equivalent. Minus 2y equals 12. So equation 1 above and below are the exact same, except that the x in the above equation is replaced with an expression with y in it. And the reason why we want to do this is we now only have one variable to solve for. So I'm going to distribute these brackets, negative 10y plus 60 minus 2y equals 12. I'm going to combine like terms. I'm going to subtract 60 from both sides. And that's going to give me, when I do negative 48 divided by negative 12, negative divided by negative is positive. So I get positive 4 as my answer for y. Now remember that you're not done because we still need to solve for x. And what I can do is I can use original equation 2 to solve for x. Now I could use equation 1 as well, but this one's already equal to x. So I'm going to calculate x by replacing the y in equation 2 with the y that I solved for in equation 1. So doing this calculation, x is equal to negative 20 plus 30. That means that x is equal to 10 and y is equal to 4. In number 10, it says you're running a concession stand at a basketball tournament and you're selling hot dogs and drinks. Each hot dog costs $1.75. So there's lots of information here, so I'm just going to start highlighting it. Hot dogs cost $1.75 and drinks cost 75 cents. At the end of the tournament, you made a total of $112. And you did this by selling a total of 100 hot dogs and drinks combined. So how many hot dogs were sold and how many drinks were sold? When we're doing word problems, it's really important to recognize what the variables are in the problem. And in this case, and in many cases, you just read the last sentence. How many hot dogs were sold? How many drinks were sold? That indicates to us what our variables are going to be. So I'm going to let x equal the number of hot dogs sold. And then the y is going to equal the number of drinks sold. So then I need to come up with two equations or two relationships. One of my relationships I'm going to use is the money. The other one is going to be the total number of hot dogs and drinks combined. That's going to be the easier one. So I'm going to just start with that one. So my equation 1 is going to be 100 hot dogs and drinks is going to be equal to the number of hot dogs, x, plus the number of drinks, y. So there's one relationship. The other relationship is going to be based on money. It's going to be based on that $112. how do I get to that $112? Well, I have hot dogs, they cost $1.75. So to get the amount of money from hot dogs, I could do $1.75, but I have groups of $1.75, so multiplying by the number of hot dogs. To get the amount of money from the drinks, we can take the cost of the drinks, which is 75 cents, and then we're going to multiply that by the number of drinks, which is Y. So there represents my two equations. Okay, I have x plus y equals 100, and I have $1.75 times the number of hot dogs plus 75 cents times the number of drinks. Add that amount of money together, and I end up with $112. So since we did the last one by substitution, I'm going to do this one by addition subtraction. So I'm going to match my coefficient of 75 cents. So I'm going to multiply everything by 0.75 for equation 1. So that's going to end up with 100 times 0.75 is 75. We have 0.75x plus 0.75y. So that's what's going to happen when we multiply everything by 0.75. Okay, so that's equation 1. I have equation 2 already here. And notice that my 0.75 x and x matches, sorry, my 0.75 y matches in equation 2 and equation 1. So I'm going to take that equation 2, $112 is equal to 1.75x plus 0.75y. I'm going to subtract that blue equation, and I am going to end up with a new equation. My new equation is going to be 75 minus 112. That's going to be negative $37. This is going to be negative 1.00x. The y's cancel out. So x, when I solve for this, 37 divided by 1.0, that's just going to be positive 37. So we have 37 hot dogs sold. And that means then that, well, if I plug it back into equation 1, that will allow me to calculate the number of y. So 100 is equal to 37 hot dogs plus an unknown number of drinks. If I subtract 37 from both sides, I end up with y equals 63. So that means then that there's 37 hot dogs sold and the rest were drinks, so that means 63 drinks were sold as well.